Hello and welcome. My name's Angie Holden and I'm the blogger behind the Country Chic Cottage. So today is an exciting day because Cricut is releasing three new machines today, and one of those is the Cricut Auto Press. So now Cricut sent me this machine, however this video is not sponsored, and in this video we'll be opening it, taking a look at the machine and what it does. So watch the entire video, see what other questions you have, ask those questions in the comment section, and I'll do future videos answering all your questions about Cricut Auto Press. And if you want to see the other two new releases, I have those as well. And I'm putting all these videos up today, so you can head to my YouTube channel and check out all three new releases. So now let's open Cricut Auto Press and see what's inside. And as you can see, it's huge. All right, so all I did was take the top off the box, and there are some numbered boxes. So number 1 and number 2. And then there is the Auto Press itself, which I will take out. But let's look at what's in the boxes. Number 1. Looks like it has some kind of control panel as well as a cord, and it looks like a get started guide. Number 2 has what looks like the power cord. So now that I have all my cords, everything's out, let me go ahead and take out the machine and let's take a closer look. And here is the Auto Press itself out of the packaging. So when you get it out of the packaging, it will be locked. There's a lock button at any time so you can lock it closed. So it'll look like this when you get it out, and the lock button is on the side with the power button. So you can just click unlock, and watch out because it will swing open. And now Auto Press is open. I did want to note that the Auto Press also comes with a removable mat that you can remove off of the bottom plate. Now this mat does come inside the Auto Press, so when you open up the Auto Press, don't be looking for a separate mat. It's actually inside the press itself. I did also want to note that the mat that comes with Auto Press has a non-slip backing on it, so that means it is different from the Easy Press mat, and you'll find that it won't slide around on the plate, but it is removable, so you can remove it, put your blank on it, then add it back to the Auto Press. And if at any time, again, you want it to stay closed, you would just close it down and hit the lock button, and then it'll stay closed. So it is locked and it is closed. And there's actually a handle on this side, as well as a little space on this side for your hand so that it's easy to lift. You can also carry it by this handle. Now that we have the Auto Press out of the box and all of our pieces, let's look at how to set it up. The documentation you get with Auto Press is as follows. So the first card has a website address for the activation and setup of your machine. You must connect this machine to a computer to activate it and register it before it will work. You do need to have a computer with a USB port. If you have a newer Mac, you might need an adapter to do so. Next up is a guide for the Auto Press that will have some instructions. Then you'll have some warranty and safety information. Box 1 contains this control panel as well as this cord. On the back of this control panel, you can switch Auto Press from Fahrenheit to Celsius. I'm going to put mine on Fahrenheit. Next, you're going to install this into the cord into the Auto Press box. This is the bottom of the box. Then once you press that cord into place, the control box is now ready. The control box itself has 2 dials, as well as 4 buttons up top that are each numbered 1 through 4. Box 2 contained my power cord. One end will go into the wall, the other end will go into Auto Press. So let's look at how to set this up. The first thing you want to do is plug one end of the power cord into the back of Auto Press. Once that's plugged in, we can begin setup. At this point, you want to pull up either the website cricut.com/setup or Cricut Design Space. I'm going to do this in Cricut Design Space. First, I click the 3 lines in the upper left-hand corner, and then I click New Product Setup, and then click Heat Press. At this point, Design Space will walk you through the process. What you're going to do is plug Auto Press in, and you're going to plug the controller into your computer. So the controller end is a USB end. It will go into the Auto Press after we finish this setup procedure, but for now, we're going to plug it into a USB port in our computer. If you plug the controller into the Auto Press at this point, it will give an error and tell you to plug it into a PC. I'm going to go ahead and walk through the setup in Cricut Design Space. Design Space will walk you through the procedure, but let's watch the controller as I do this so you can see what will happen on your controller interface. Once Design Space recognizes that I have the controller plugged in, I agree to the terms of use and activate. Now Design Space is preparing my machine, and you will see the controller start counting down. Once your control pod is up to date, you are done in Design Space. You can remove the USB from your computer and plug it into your heat press. Let's finish the setup on the AutoPress itself. Now you just plug the USB end of the control pod into the AutoPress. Now that we have AutoPress set up and operating, let's take a look at the buttons, what they do, how to operate AutoPress, maybe even make a project. On the sides of AutoPress, you have a lock and unlock button, and that's what I hit earlier to open it. You also have your power button. So I wanted to show you what happens if I turn the power on now that my machine is activated and I have it in the locked or closed position. What will happen is the display will show a lock icon and it will not heat up. So you do need to unlock it and have it open in order for AutoPress to heat up. So let's go ahead and hit that unlock button again. Opening AutoPress up. You might hear on the camera the motor starts to run. So it does have a blower inside that ensures that your entire heat plate is heating up to the same temperature. So I do have it heating up, and we'll take a look at the control panel in just a second. But first let's talk about a little bit of the specifics of AutoPress, because AutoPress takes about 8 minutes, depending on the temperature, to heat up. So we have a few minutes to talk about the specifications. So the heat plate itself is 15 inches by 12 inches, and that's 12 inches deep by 15 inches wide. So in total, if you're looking for space that you need for AutoPress, you'll need 16.63 inches wide and then 26.07 inches deep. Now, some of this front portion can hang off of your table, and I will put it on the table that I'm planning on keeping it on in a few minutes so you can see that a portion of this is going to hang off my table. The base itself is sort of inset from this outside lip, so you do have a little bit of wiggle room within those dimensions. So you need approximately 22.5 inches, give or take, from the back to that lip that I was talking about on the bottom for it to fit on any table. So this is like a typical counter width, which is what they were going for when designing AutoPress. So the entire thing does weigh 53 pounds. So we will take a look at some storage options. So you can store it like this flat, you can store it open, you can store it closed, and I have another idea for you, so stay tuned for that. So there is no adjustment for AutoPress as far as pressure or height. When we close it, your base material can actually be up to 2 inches thick. So as I bring it down, you can see that it's at an angle until it gets to about right here. And then I can press it down on a surface. So your surface can be up to 2 inches thick. So that means that you can do a variety of surfaces with AutoPress, and in a future video I will be testing a ton of different surfaces, so be sure to stay tuned on YouTube for that. So now let's pretend it's heated up and there's something inside. How does AutoPress actually press? So when you press it down, first of all, it's easy close, so you can close it with 2 fingers, and you just press down. You might hear a motor engage. That's because AutoPress is automatic. So it just presses down and presses with the right amount of pressure. So I am going to do a future video with things that supposedly require different pressures and see if AutoPress will press each of those. Now, this is heating up and you can see that I am touching the top. That is because all of this plastic stays cool. That motor that you hear running also keeps the heat away from the handle. So this handle stays cool at all times. And it auto opens. So once it's done with the time that's on the controller, it'll auto open, so you don't even have to be around when it finishes. So feel free to press and then start working on like your next blank, because AutoPress will just open when it's complete. So let's press it down once again, and let's say that I pressed it down and I've made a mistake. So I realized I didn't mirror my iron on or something, and I want to lift it back up. That's easy as well. You just lift up on the handle. It's a couple fingers, just lift up, it pops right open. It does pop open automatically, so I don't have to lift it up all the way. So 2 fingers to close, it's engaged, it's locked, it's pressing, and then a couple fingers and just kind of pop the handle and up it goes. However, if I wanted it to press for the full time, I could close it, allow it to press, and it'll pop open on its own when that time is done. So it does go up to 400 degrees, so that means it's good for infusible ink, sublimation, and HTV. And yes, I will be testing all of those in a future video, so stay tuned for that. We are going to make one project today with HTV, and I tried to make like a large project that you really couldn't do with one press with the Easy Press, so I thought that would be a little bit of a test for AutoPress today, but I'm definitely going to put it through all the tests later. And as you can see, hands were on the table, I didn't touch it, it was done with the time that set on the controller, and it popped open on its own. So now let's take a look at that controller and how to set your time and temperature before we press something. Currently I have AutoPress heating to 330 degrees for 30 seconds. Adjust your dial up or down to the temperature you want with the dial up and down to the time you want. So super easy to change your time and temperature. Now where do you get your time and temperature? AutoPress does not work with the new Cricut Heat app, so you will need to set the time and temperature manually. So you'll look on the Cricut Heat guide for the time and temperature and set it accordingly. Now this will go up to 400 degrees maximum, and the maximum time is 600 seconds, which is 10 minutes, which should be plenty of time for most surfaces. Now let's talk about these buttons at the top. These are presets, and they will come with something programmed in. So you can see as I click each one, it will flash and tell me what the preset is and set it to that setting. You want to change these presets at any time to something you use more often. They're just like setting something on a car radio. So let's say on this last one, instead of 385 for 30, I wanted it to be 400 for 30. So I'm going to change it to 400 for 30, and I'm going to hold down this last button where I want that preset to go. I hold it down, it flashes and beeps, and now this preset is 400 for 30 seconds. And you have 4 preset options to choose from. So if you have 4 different blanks that you use all the time, the presets would be super convenient to add your times and temperatures into those. Now, what if you've accidentally changed those presets and you want to go back to the factory setting? You can put a paper clip in this hole and it will reset AutoPress settings. Now that AutoPress is heated up, I have my pillow cover, and I'm just going to add it, preheat it just a few seconds, just to remove any moisture or anything from the material. Now, you don't really have to reset your dial to do the preheat because you can just lift it up. So now that it's preheated, let's add our HTV to the surface. So I've just located my HTV into place on my blank, and I have AutoPress set to the right time and temperature. So now, HTV's on here, all I had to do is press it down. Press the handle down, it engages with the right pressure, and all I have to do is wait. Now this is a great time to prep your next blank. Buying an extra mat for the AutoPress is a great investment. That way you can be prepping your next blank over to the side. When AutoPress is done and pops out, you remove one, mat and all, and put the other one inside, press down again. So if you do a ton of projects that involve a heat press, this press is really great for that. So now let's remove the carrier sheet from this HTV and take a look at our final project. So now, here's my project and it's complete. I went ahead and put a pillow inside. Now let's talk about how you turn AutoPress off. So first of all, if it's on and heated up and you close it and hit this lock button over here because I want to lock it closed, it's going to beep at you and really get annoying because you can't lock it with it on. So you would need to hit the power button to turn it off. So you need to lock it and turn it off to store it in the closed position. Now, if you have it on and you want to store it in the upright position, all you need to do is press the power button. So I just press the power button and turn it off, and it will cool in this position. Now, if I want to store it closed, I can turn it off, then close it, then lock it. It can cool closed. So the mat inside will be fine if it's closed while cooling down, so you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to do anything on the controller. The power button controls the press itself. Now it does have an auto off feature and it will shut itself off after 13 minutes if you're not using it. So this is where my AutoPress will live when I'm not making videos like the one I just made. So I did have to scoot it out a little bit on this table, but the base is still on the table, which is what I was talking about. And then I just adjusted these shelves a little bit. It opens up, it doesn't hit anything, and it's ready to use. And then I could just plug it in, turn it on, and I have my dial over here to the side. So those of you with a small space or a small crafting area, there's another feature of AutoPress that you might like. So you can unplug both the power cable and the control panel and store AutoPress sitting on its back upright. So this could fit in a closet, it could fit like behind a door. Standing up like this, it could fit a ton of places. Now, it's still heavy, it still weighs 53 pounds. However, you can hold it by the handle at the top and carry it like this. Now, it is kind of awkward. I like to carry it by the handle on the front, as well as there's like a spot on the back that your hand fits in. I like to carry it by both and carry it flat instead of carrying it upright like this, just because of the weight and it's a little bit awkward for me. But either way works, and you can definitely store it like this if that solution works for you. So let's wrap things up with what I think will be your frequently asked questions. Now, if I don't cover your question in this section or in this video, feel free to drop down in the comment section, ask any questions you have. I'll answer those in the comment section or in a future video. Now, I do have several videos for AutoPress planned, so I can cover everything. Like if you want to know how well does it work on a certain type of material, I will be covering that, I guarantee it. I have a ton of information planned for you. But for now, let's talk about who AutoPress is for. So AutoPress is a professional level press. It is for people that are heat pressing several objects and want that automation and want that ease of use. So you saw how easy it was to use, right? So pressed it down with 2 fingers. It was easy to set the time and temperature. The pressure is all set for you. I don't have to press down while it's pressing. I could work on prepping my next blank. So it's for people that are doing multiple of whatever. Shirts, invisible ink projects, sublimation projects. Yes, it does work on all 3. HGV, sublimation, as well as invisible ink. So you can do all those projects in AutoPress. I will be doing a full video on AutoPress with sublimation so we can test all the things and make sure it works with all your sublimation blanks. So AutoPress is great for like small business owners, people that own their own business, people that are making a lot of shirts for something like a volunteer organization or a charity, that type of thing. So anywhere where you're doing mass production would be where I would recommend AutoPress. It obviously takes up more space, but you have the larger heating area. So the 15 by 12 heating area is amazingly nice, I must say. We made that big pillow all in one press. So we talked about how it automatically did the pressure. There is no way to adjust the pressure with AutoPress. So I will be doing several tests of what that means for various crafts as well as various surfaces and see if AutoPress can handle those, given that you can't adjust the pressure manually. So that does mean it automatically adjusts the pressure no matter how thick your blank is. So we talked about it could go up to 2 inches. Whether you have a 2-inch blank in there of some type, like let's say wood, or a shirt in there which is really thin, both of those, it will auto adjust the pressure to be exactly the same for both. So you don't have to worry that the 2-inch is going to have more pressure because it's higher up. The AutoPress takes care of that. And that also means that you might have to do some experiments. So maybe the time and temperature need to change with your blank because the pressure cannot be adjusted. So there may be some experimental things there, and you may need to do a few test presses to get it right before you can make certain blanks or certain crafts in the AutoPress. Okay, one thing we haven't talked about yet is the design. I personally love it. So most commercial heat presses are extremely big. They're bulky, ugly. They actually take up more space than this if you were to get a 15 by 12 press. So this is actually fairly compact for a 15 by 12 press. I love the storage options with it. I love that it can be stored flat. I love that it locks into place. And the fact that you can store it vertically is amazing for people that want to start a small home-based business but might not have the space to dedicate to the business all the time. So maybe you need to fold it up for, Thanksgiving and the holidays and use that area for something else. You can definitely do that with Cricut AutoPress. The Auto Open is my other favorite feature. So I've actually been wanting a heat press with Auto Open for a while. Like that feature alone makes me extremely happy because I don't have to worry about opening it back up. I can go ahead and be prepping my next blank ready to put on the heat press without having to worry about stopping, opening the press when it chimes or whatever. And some of my presses don't even chime. So this actually opens, lets me know it's done, and I can remove my blank and add the next one. All right, so that's all I have for today for Cricut AutoPress. Hopefully that introduction is enough to get you a little bit excited about this machine and maybe put some questions in your mind. So again, drop down in the comment section, ask any questions that you have about Cricut AutoPress. I'll be happy to answer those. If you like this video, if you learned something, give us a thumbs up. And don't forget, head on over to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. We're gonna have several AutoPress videos answering all of your questions and maybe questions you didn't even know you had about Cricut AutoPress, and I don't want you to miss any of those. So thank you all so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.